Welcome everyone, I'm PoloMint Peeper, and today I'm looking at the 1976 film The Town That Dreaded Sundown. A title name which belongs up there with I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and The Town That Forgot How to Breathe. I stumbled onto this movie through a late night Netflix perusal in which the picture of the hooded figure, the stupid title, and the fact that I'd never heard of this film all had me intrigued. The film begins with the narrator helpfully telling us the year, the town population, and also the geographical location of the town.
World War II had ended only 8 months earlier, and the town of Texarkana, population 40,000, which straddles the Texas-Arkansas border.
Wee bit of an info dump there. The narrator keeps on statistically running down drab info about the town and its people before leading into the first attack from our hooded ne'er-do-well.
The beginning of a reign of terror for the people of Texarkana and surrounding areas of Arkansas and Texas.
We have the cliched setup of a guy trying to get some from his girlfriend. Or by some, I clearly mean he lays his head in her lap like a scolded child. The 40s truly were a simpler time. A simpler, dumber time. The girlfriend hears some noises as the hooded figure is doing a bang-up job not being seen or heard.
Jesus Christ, when I go out with you, I'll never understand. Damn.
The cheek of that guy calling her the weirdo while he lays on her lap. So they get attacked, and we get treated to the girlfriend screaming. And screaming. And screaming. To what seems like forever. I swear her scream even seems layered with more screams. After that fairly brutal attack, they're both heavily wounded but still alive, and it's here we're introduced to one of our protagonists, Deputy Ramsey.
Well, they're both still alive. Man's name is Samuel P. Fuller. Age 24, his driver's...
Wait, that guy was supposed to be 24? Barely looks in his early 30s, never mind 20s. Both victims are taken to the hospital and the police try to interview them, but they're both in very heavy comatose states. It's here that we also learn that
There was no evidence of rape. But I can tell you that her back, stomach, and breasts were heavily bitten. Bitten? Literally chewed.
So far, I'm thinking this could be a good wee horror thriller police procedural akin to David Fincher's Zodiac. And like Zodiac, this too is based on real life crimes. And then we are introduced to Patrolman A.C. Benson.
Get him on the phone. Is that you, Connor? What the hell's wrong with you, boy? You try that again and the Supreme Court of the United States ain't gonna be able to save your ass. Okay, Mrs. Connor, now you just settle down, because he promised me.
Just what the hell is going on here? It's like a few pages from a sitcom accidentally made its way into this gritty crime drama script. All the actors suddenly turn into mugging buffoons as well. Sadly, this is the first of many attempts at bizarre humour in this film.
This is Howard W. Turner, age 29, former CB who returned from overseas a few weeks ago. The young girl is Emma Lou Cook, and she is 17.
Going straight from that comedic routine, we are back with the narrator, introducing us to the next two victims. It's been 3 weeks since the first attack and Deputy Ramsey is out on patrol when he hears gunshots. He speeds off to investigate and finds our recently introduced characters. The movie is now back to being a crime drama, with scenes like this that are kinda reminiscent of True Detective's horrific crime scenes. Deputy Ramsey actually manages to spot and almost catch up with the killer, but he gets away. The town goes into a state of panic at the news of these killings and press has named the killer the Phantom. We are then introduced to our other main protagonist, Texas Ranger, Lone Wolf. No, not that one. This guy, Lone Wolf Morales, whose first order of call has been given Benson, or should I say,
Patrolman A.C. Benson. Some folks call me Sparkplug.
as a driver. And of course the hijinks and shenanigans ensue. the laugh I had watching the 3-minute scene of Benson trying to find the keys to the car, along with goofy music. Or when Benson almost kills them just driving to the next scene.
You just got 2 controls on this damn thing, wide open and stop?
Well, I figured you was in a hurry, sir.
Well, I am in a hurry.
Hilarity. Police start interviewing everyone and anyone for possible leads on the Phantom, but all they get is crazies coming forward proclaiming to be said Phantom. Morales then oversees an undercover sting, which again is played for yucks as we see Benson dressed as a lady.
Go to hell, Ramsey.
This serves absolutely no purpose other than to get a few laughs. Right, enough of that. Cut to prom, where we see the sheriff's receptionist again mugging to the camera. I don't know what's worse, her mugging or the teens that can't stop looking at the camera. Both are equally awful. We are then briefly introduced to our next 2 victims, who leave prom to go to a quiet, secluded area, even though they both know of the warnings not to, and of course the Phantom strikes. This guy clearly has no game as his head's on her shoulder, not in her lap. Pfft. The Phantom jostles around the car before revealing himself to be on the side of this now moving vehicle. No idea how he managed that. I would take this scene a lot more serious if the male actor could, stop smiling. Eventually they are out of the car and the boyfriend is repeatedly battered over the head. The Phantom then grabs the girlfriend and ties her to a tree. Before he deals with her though, he shoots and kills the now crawling boyfriend. This whole scene is set to absolutely no music and it really sets a visceral and horrific tone. The movie makes me completely forget about the stupid nonsensical comedy scenes beforehand and is actually taking me aback with just how well this whole scene is shot. And then the trombone comes into play. Apparently this movie is infamous for this scene. The Phantom attacks and kills the girl by tying a knife to her trombone, then mimicking the playing of the trombone as the knife stabs her to death. This is when I knew I had to do a review of this movie. Honestly, my mouth was wide open when I first watched this. I could barely believe what I was seeing. Also, isn't this based on true events? Yeah, I double checked and sure enough, no, the real killer never used a trombone. The real life victim actually played the saxophone, and a saxophone was found near the scene of the crime, but obviously wasn't used in the actual attack. So what the fuck was the director thinking? Well, this is an apparent quote from him. I've been accused of going a little too far off the deep end with that trombone scene, but it worked. When that picture played opening night in Texarkana, a lot of people were there who had grown up during that time. When that trombone scene was over, you could have heard a pin drop. I'm telling you, everybody was just frozen. Yeah, I can imagine what it must have been like for the actual citizens of the town to actually see this on screen. Absolutely baffling. But, it's memorable. I'll give it that. Honestly, the movie's not going to top that, and I could end this review right here and we would all be the better for it, as the movie doesn't seem to really know what to do with itself after this scene. We get a pointless subplot about Cleveland Brown's car being stolen by a guy that said he was the Phantom. Of course, it turns out it's just a crazy guy, but during this scene we get a bizarre slow-mo effect for no real reason. I think it's for comedy purposes, but I'm really not sure.
We ain't gonna make this. Hold on, Captain. Hold it. Whoop, whoop.
The actual chase scene ends with Sparkplug driving the car into a pond. Lulz. We have one final Phantom stalk and murder scene, and this one just doesn't quite pack the punch of earlier scenes. Phantom follows a woman back to her home, shoots and kills her husband through the window, and then shoots the woman in the face. When I first watched this, I could have swore she was shot right through the head, and I was utterly confused as to how she was moving at all, never mind running away. We have a pretty cool scene with them running through a field of corn before the woman eventually manages to escape and collapse outside someone's home, and they call for an ambulance. It's near the end of the movie, and we have a scene between Morales and Ramsey where they talk about never being able to catch the Phantom.
He's killed 5 people and he damn near killed 3 more, and we're no closer to catching him than we were 4 months ago.
I assumed this was going to be the final shot, or nearly one of the final shots of the movie, as the real life killer was never caught, but then they hear a radio call about a suspect vehicle, which matches the car that Deputy Ramsey seen driving away from the scene of the crime earlier in the movie. They drive to the location of the car and they go looking for the Phantom, who, for some bizarre reason, is kicking around in broad daylight, wearing his hooded mask and black gloves. How has this guy not been caught again? Oh, alright. Ramsey decides that he's going to start acting like an idiot by just standing up out in the open so the Phantom can see him. Sparkplug's Odyssey is clearly infectious. They give chase and they end up slowly wounding the bandit on the other side of the train track. They have to wait for this incredibly long train to pass by before trying to pursue the now wounded bandit. But he gets away. The narrator chimes in to let us know
Texarkana today still looks pretty much the same. And if you should ask people here on the streets what they believe happened to the Phantom Killer, most would say that he is still living here.
And that's that. Then to a genre-twisting movie, a movie that would turn thematically back and forth so quick it would give you whiplash. This movie isn't terrible overall. When it tries to be suspenseful and horrific, it more than succeeds. Where it fails is its confusing moments of comedy. Thankfully the movie is quite short and is readily available on Netflix. I would say give it a watch if for just the trombone scene. Also, a lot of you out there may be thinking, oh, they just ripped off Jason Voorhees' sack mask thing from Friday the 13th Part 2. This movie actually came out 5 years before that movie, so if anything, that might have ripped off this movie. Also, before I go, I found out that AC Benson, aka Sparkplug, was played by the director. What a fucking tool. Bye!